So you've got a world of badly mismatched assets, but no way for your player to interact with them. Well, my loyal viewers who are frantically clicking that like button as we speak, have I got the video for you because we're looking at player interaction today. The setup should be very simple. It's only two components. It's also very flexible. You can use it for anything from talking to NPCs to picking up an apple. In fact, I've got a test scene over here with some chests and a door. You can walk up to the chests, press E to interact. A nice light appears and we can walk over to the door, open, close, open, close. Very nifty stuff. So anyway, let's get started. We need to know what we have and what we're making. We currently have a character in the world that wants to interact with stuff, and we have lots of objects in the world that want to be interacted with. So right off the bat, we know we need two components, player interactor and interactable. Let's start with interactable since it's the simpler of the two components. We saw in the intro video that when we walked up to a chest, it lit up, and when we walked away, it lost its highlight. So we know that the interactable component attached to the chest needs to let the chest know when it's being focused and unfocused. We also saw that when we pressed our E key, the chest opened, so the component needs to let the chest know when it's being interacted with. As for the player interactor component, we saw that when the player moved towards a chest, the chest lit up, and when the player moved away, the chest lost its highlight. When the player moved between chests, only the closest chest was the one that was highlighted, so we know that the player needs to keep track of which interactable is closest to it. We also know that the player interactor is the one doing all the talking, and the interactable is the one doing all the listening. So the player interactor is the one in charge of sending focus, unfocus, and interact signals to the interactables when it's applicable. Before we get started working on our components, we've got some setup to do. Under Project Settings, scroll down to 3D Physics, and in a free layer, set the layer name to Interactable. Don't use layer 1 for this, but any other free layer should be fine. And then under Input Map, we need a new Interact action, and I'll set mine to the E key. We'll be creating our component in the Systems Interaction folder. Create a new Area 3D scene called Interactable. Put the component on the interactable layer. It doesn't need a mask. Add a collision shape child and a box shape inside of that. The size of the box shape doesn't matter. When this component is attached to an interactable object, such as a chest, it needs to let the chest know when it's focused, unfocused, and interacted with. We can do that with a script. Give the script a class name. And add our three signals. Ignore this error for now, we'll be creating the interactor component in a moment. Our interactor class will be the lowest form of interactor from which all others will extend, such as our player interactor. It's composed exactly the same way as our interactable class, from an Area 3D node. We'll call it interactor. This time it'll be on mask layer 2 and have no layer. Add the collision shape and a box shape inside of that. Finally, a script. Give it a class name. All interactors will have a controller. Interactable components will be able to reference the controller and act upon the information provided from it. For example, a door might want to always open away from the player regardless of which side of the door the player is standing on. We'll add our three signal helper functions and a helper function for retrieving the closest interactable within our reach. Finally, we'll create our player interactor component by inheriting from the interactor component. We'll rename it. Remove the existing script and add our own in the correct folder. we're inheriting from the interactor script. Our player interactor will need a reference to the player it's attached to, which we'll then assign to the controller variable. We'll need to keep track of which is the closest interactable to our player interactor at all times. We need to be able to interact with the closest interactable when we press our interact key. We need to unfocus from the closest interactable when we walk out of range from it. And we need to send focus and unfocus signals accordingly when the closest interactable to the player interactor changes. Save the component. And that's it for the coding side. Let's see how we use these things. Add the player interactor to your player object, remembering to assign the export variable. We now want to edit the player interactor's children and make the box shape unique. The reason we set it up this way is so that if we have vehicles such as a car or a mecha, we can reuse this same component and just have different hitbox sizes for the vehicles and the character. Now, if we play the game with visible collision shapes enabled, we'll immediately see a problem. The hitbox for the player interactor isn't turning with the camera. That can be fixed by simply moving the player interactor into your camera pivot. Now that the player can interact with objects, we need something for her to interact with. We'll start with one of these chests. Add an interactable component. Again, we want to edit its children and make the box shape unique. One thing I like to do is if we have a component that already has a box shape, we can just copy its size and paste it, and then move it into position. We can now hook up our 3 signals. When the chest is focused, if it's not open, add a highlight. When it's unfocused, we want to remove its highlight. And when it's interacted with, if it's not open, we want to remove its highlight, remove the fact that it's interactable, and then open the chest. Let's give that a quick test. Highlight's working, unhighlight's working, and interact is working. Let's show this off one more time with the door. Add the interactable component. Edit its children. Make the box shape unique. Size it to fit the door. It doesn't have to be exact. And then add its signals. For this one, we'll only want interacted. If the door is open, close it. Otherwise, open it away from the player. And there we have it. I hope this video helped. If it did, like, comment, subscribe, all that nice YouTube stuff, and have a wonderful day.